Namaste to everyone. Welcome to yet another compelling episode of the Sadhaks of Sadhana show. This show, featured on the official YouTube channel of the Vedic Sadhana Foundation, delves into captivating experiences and profound perspectives of sadhana shared by sadhaks, real practitioners of spiritual sadhana, hence the name Sadhaks of Sadhana. I am Devi Shobha Chandramauli, the head of marketing at the Vedic Sadhana Foundation, and it is truly my honor to be here before you hosting the Sadhaks of Sadhana show. Thank you very much for being here. And today's guest is someone we've all looked forward to having here on our show for a very long time. She is a very prominent voice on India's Itihasa, Indian knowledge systems, our epics and history. And she's made it her mission to bust myths related to our favorite epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. In fact, her books answer questions straddling generation gaps, ranging from the principles of governance that will remain relevant across ages, in fact, yugas, to questions on the actions of popular characters in our epics. So, please welcome Ami Ganatra ji to the Sadhaks of Sadhana show. Welcome, Ami ji.
Namaste, Devi ji. Very happy to be here with all of you and very happy to see what you are achieving through Sadhana App and especially about the Manasik Ram Japa that you are undertaking. So lots of Abhinandan for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Really, truly honored. To tell you a little bit about more about Ami ji. She is an alumna of the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and also the Veer Mata Jijabai Technological Institute, Mumbai. And she has over 14 years of experience in business strategy and consulting. And she has lived and worked across 4 continents and has experience over a multitude of sectors. And in her personal life, she is a devout yoga practitioner and a certified yoga instructor. She's also a student of Sanskrit and Indian knowledge systems, and she's an avid traveler. She also calls herself an accidental author, about which we're going to be talking about a lot today. These are her books. Ramayana Unraveled and Mahabharata Unraveled. So once again, welcome, Amiji. This is going to be a very interesting session. So the whole nation is in the vibes of the Ramayana, right? Ramji is coming. And I don't think any of us, for a long time, I mean, collectively, we have not looked forward or waited for any event this much, right? Each one of us is like so excited as if अपनी घर की शादी है, right? It's like our own mission, our own festival, our own celebration. And to mark this moment, Sadhana App's mission is also very much about, raising public awareness and public consciousness about a very beautiful way to connect with Shri Rama, our beloved deity, through the concept of Mansik Yagyas. And today's discussion with Amiji will also throw light upon this unique practice that is very unique to Sanatana Dharma and how it has traversed through the yugas, through the generations, and how it is today, and why it is such an important practice and how we can practice it today, right? So, Amiji, my first question to you would be, I'm really curious to know, because you are like so many people in the nation, you were an engineer, you have an MBA, and you've lived abroad, you've worked in different sectors, and your experience has been completely on a very different line. But your bio very interestingly says accidental author. So I would really like to know a little bit more about this accident.
Well, I say accidental author because I had never ever imagined that I will write a book. That was not something I thought I would do. I used to blog. I mean I do blog, especially on travel, on yoga and on stuff like that. But that is one thing, right? Or to write a Facebook post. I never thought I would write a book. And honestly, the whole initiative of writing the book was also not mine. It just so happened that I was curious. I was studying Itihas and I relocated back to Bharat during the Corona times. And it just so happened that I was offered, like I was told, ki bhai, you write, aap likho. Why aren't you writing? And I'm like, okay, even if I write, who's going to read? Yeah, why will anybody want to read what I write? And Praveen Tiwari ji, who was my first publisher with Bloomsbury, he recently moved to Blue One Ink. He's like, no, 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 I'm sure you don't worry about the who will read part. You only focus on writing. So that's how I became an author. It is all because of Krishna and because of Praveen ji, not something that I had ever planned.
That's great. So, how was the experience of writing the book? Was it like a spiritual sadhana for you? Because they say that reading the Ramayana, reading the Mahabharata itself is a great spiritual sadhana, right? How was it?
I think when I started reading, so initially Mahabharata, I started with the Mahabharata because I had lots of questions. And when I started reading the Mahabharata, studying the Mahabharata, I realized that what I thought I knew was not really the case. And the epic, the Itihas, is so much more profound, deep, and self-explanatory about a lot of issues and doubts that we have, and takeaways for our own lives. Yeah. After that, I started studying the Ramayana. And in fact, for Ramayana, I have to thank my reading group because we had a reading group of lots of youngsters and many others. We did it together. Together, every Sunday, we would meet online and we would study the Ramayana. So it was a great exercise for all of us. It was a great swadhyay, let's say. So that studying process was great. But as I said, I was not studying with an intention. I was not, there was no intention for anything. The intention was only to understand it better for our own sense. That was the only idea we had. That was the only goal, if I may. Yeah, there was nothing beyond that. So when the writing thing came, it allowed me to go back to a lot of the notes which I had. And even at that time, I was not thinking of it as, Arey, I'm doing something spiritual. Yeah, kya? It was just because I was very um, I it really bothered me that we do not know our itihas at all. And a lot of narratives that are spoken about are all just based on kahi suni batein, on fiction, yeah, or on just people's understanding without having delved into those epics. And when we delve into those epics, there is so much more, they enrich our life so much more. Yeah. So that process itself that had happened to me and that what I had gained, the idea was let me just share it. So that many others are encouraged enough, if at all, to start reading the original. So it was with that purpose in mind. So I wouldn't even say I was thinking and it was, oh wow, what a spiritual exercise for me. No, it wasn't that. It allowed me to study again. And I would say more than spiritual, it was a lot more emotionally enriching journey for me, especially the Ramayana. Mahabharata is my first book and it will always stay close to my heart. But the emotional layers that Ramayana has, yeah, the various shades of love, the various shades of responsibility, the kind of depth in the way Shri Ram, Sita Ma, they all feel for each other. It's just something else. So I would say it was more emotionally enriching for me. And Adhyatma, I don't know. I don't think I even have control on it. Hopefully, something might have happened. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's great. So, I saw that, I was reading the Ramayana Unraveled book, especially for this interview, and it was very interesting that you brought out some of the, burning questions that people have about Ramayana and especially the actions of Sri Rama. And there are plenty of perspectives for these books, right? Because there are so many themes that you can bring out. Like you said, there are layers that we can, unravel that just goes on and on. How did you decide upon this kind of perspective to present, especially?
So if you see, right, I am not bringing out anything of my own. My idea was very simple. Let's try and bring to fore what Vyasji has told us or Valmiki ji has told us, as they have told us, without trying to be too creative about it. Probably trying to bring it in a way that it makes sense to us in the language that makes sense to us now. So that was the idea. And I would say every text, I mean, and this is more my understanding now, that every text of ours can be read at different levels. Yeah. Especially when I talk about Itihas, Mahabharata, and Ramayana. One is the Bhautik, the Adi Bhautik level. One is Adi Daivik, and the other is the Adhyatmic level. So the Adi Bhautik is now for me. What is in it for me right now? How do I enrich my life? How do I ensure that, as in what do I gain in my practical life by reading these epics? Yeah. So very practical. That means understanding it from an emotional perspective, understanding the trade-offs that have gone in decision making. How does it improve my decision making? That is all. That is all I looked for. That's it. What is Valmiki ji saying about it? From the point of view of Shri Ram. That's it. The layers then about the Adi Daivik, where we all whatever happens on earth is also happening at the cosmic level, at the Devasur Sangram level, right? And beyond that, it's the Adhyatmic level, where you see the four brothers and Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and all of that. I haven't gone there at all. I don't even think I have the mental faculty, at least as of now, or the spiritual evolution to talk about that. My point was very simple. What is in it for me right now? And that is all I bothered with, and that is all I tried to gain from it and narrated the way Valmiki ji and Vyas ji have said it. I don't think I put in too much thought process into that. I just said what made sense to me from the epic as they had said it.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And I think one running theme around Ramayana and Mahabharata also is that, especially Ramayana, is that even Mahabharata, actually, for that matter, is this thing about connecting with the deity through yagyas and fire offerings. So here, Sri Rama is born when Dasharatha ji does, Sri Rama and his mothers, all of them, does a Putra Kameshti Yagya. And then later on, even Sri Rama is called upon by Vishwamitra and many other people to protect, to protect their yagyas, from the Rakshasas. So just kind of, it's very intriguing, very interesting that this holds such a central place in the lives of our characters and in those yugas, and somehow now it has become kind of a distant practice, right? So tell us a little bit about the role of yagyas and how it has actually traversed through the yugas, and what is it that is recommended for the Kali Yuga now.
Okay. So Yagna, right? Now, interestingly, the way the word Yagna is pronounced very differently in different places of Bharat. Some people would say, call it Yagya. Some would say Yajna. Somebody would say Yagna, right? What is right? I don't know. Follow whatever practice in your region. However, the word, the way it is said, it is Ja and Nya. So, cha, cha, ja, ja, Nya, right? So, it is half Ja and Na. So, now, however you want to pronounce it, you want to pronounce it Yajna, Yagna, I don't know. Yeah. So, for this purpose, Yagna, Yajna, Yagya, all is valid. And we can use whichever. So, what is Yagna, the word itself means? The root word of that is Yaja. What does Yaja mean? Yaja very simply means Deva Puja Sangati Karana Daneshu, which is basically Deva Puja, worship. To worship, to sacrifice, to give. All of these would be the meaning of Yagna. So the larger concept is worshipping, the larger concept is giving, the larger concept is sacrifice. Yeah, that is the larger concept. Now, the way we imagine a yagna is the ritual yagna, which happens in a Vedi and the fire is lit, right? So, the way our ancestors thought about yagna was basically a ritual which involved worship of the devatas. But that is one type of yagna, so to say. If you see Bhagavad Gita, Shri Ram talks about Shri Krishna talks about various yagnas, right? He talks about Dravya yagna, which is the actual, what you see, the ritual. He talks about Tapo yagna, Jnana yagna, Yoga yagna, all of this. So there are different ways. Now, what we are talking about, what sadhana is doing, is the manasik yagna. And all this is yagna because the larger concept, as I said, is worship, sacrifice, all of that. Now, what was the idea behind it? The idea was, so, I mean, before going to the idea, the way even the ritual is practiced, the Agni Wala ritual, because we say Agni, what is Agni? We call it the Purohit of the Devtas. Agni Mire Purohitam, right? So Agni is the Purohit of the Devtas, and Agni is what connects us with the Devatas. Whatever offerings we make to the Agni, it is taken to the Devatas. And why do we make offerings to the Agni to give to the Devatas? Again, as Krishna says, he says na, that Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu chaha bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantah Shreyaha Parama Apsataha. So basically, what he's saying is, you appease the devatas, yeah, so that devatas take care of you. It is like a symbiotic relationship, right? For our living, for our survival, we do not exist in a vacuum. We depend on the Prakriti, we depend on the Anugraha of the Devatas. So many things that we eat and all, we never produce it, right? It has been there for us. So if we want something, we request for it. We have, but we just don't take. We give. When we give, we have the right to take. So you please the Devatas with your offering, and then Devatas fulfill your desires. And it is through this symbiotic relationship that we exist in how do I say, in aligned with the prakriti, with the devatas and all of that. So it is a give and take, but give and take with what bhav? So for that bhava, again, the yagnas have different types of yagnas. One which is called the nitya karma, which used to be agnihotra and stuff, which certain communities had certain ways, rituals of doing it. Agnihotra, that would include doing your yagna every day. Then in some families, you would have the agni, 24 hours the agni had to be on, right? The akhanda jyoti, that would be lit. That used to be the case. That was one type of ritual. The other was naimitic, which would happen on certain days. Kisi ka janmdin hai, you do a yagna. That is naimitic. Then the more interesting one, which we see in a lot of our epics, are the what is called the kamya yagna. Kamya yagna is you do something with a desire of something. Yeah. So putra kameshti yagna, which Dasharatha ji had done. That was to say, okay, I will do this yagna, I will make all these offerings. Why? Because I desire a child. So I offer to you, I try to appease you, I worship you. In return, please give me a child. Yeah. So this is with a desire, a reciprocation that is expected. This was also done in a way like after taking a sankalpa, at the end, if the sankalpa is achieved, you do the yagna. Like the Rajasuya yagna or the Ashwamedhi yagna used to happen, where you become a Chakravartin and then you do the yagna when everybody has agreed that, okay, you are sovereign and we agree to your power, right? Then you do the yagna as the completion of the sankalpa. So that was Kamya. Then there is something Prashchit and all of that, but let's not go there. Now, so the idea, as I said, is this paraspara, symbiotic relationship. The larger concept is, can we raise everything that we do to the level of worship? Because how do we do worship? With complete surrender bhav, yeah, with complete shraddha in the Bhagwan. So that is an aspect. And as I said, the kamya thing is with a desire in mind. But more importantly, when the yagna is done and the purohit, when he's doing it, what will he say? Idam for the yajman, this is not idam the mama, this is not for me, right? So can we then do it with this bhava that this is for the larger good? Idam the mama, like Guruji of Sangh, he used to say, idam rashtraya idam the mama. All the seva that we are doing is for the rashtra. This is not for mine. That is also yagna. So yagna starts with a ritual. The larger concept is symbiotic relationship. And even more than that is a sacrifice. Doing anything that you do for the larger cause, for loka sangraha and not just for us. So this is how the yagna would be. Now, just one small point before I complicate this even more. The huge yagnas that we see in the epics, right? Like Putra Kameshri Yagna or Ashwamedh Yagna or whatever. All these would be a social spectacle, not just individual effort. It would be like a huge utsav, a program where guests from everywhere will come. And it will be an avsar, an opportunity where the Raja would actually distribute all his wealth. So there would be people, it would be like in Mahabharata, there is a word this comes. Diyatamba, bhuntamba. So give whoever wants whatever they want. Let them enjoy and feast whatever they want, right? So you open up your treasury for everybody to enjoy from that. It is not just yours, it is everybody's. It is of the rishis who've come, it is of your own praja, it is of the guests, it's of all the people who are considering you as their leader, right? So it is for the betterment of all of them. You use that as an opportunity for wealth distribution. That is also a way to see it, and a celebration. So these are the various aspects of yagna, but the larger bhav is this: to offer and to gain, and not just one way.
Absolutely, beautifully explained. And I'm really curious to know, like, in the Kali Yuga, like, how does that translate to? What does that translate to? Because obviously there are physical yagyas that are happening, but many of us are still very alien to the actual practice of yagya ourselves, right? Doing it ourselves. So how does that translate?
So our rishis, I think they had understood that with time, it is not going to be feasible for most of the people to be able to do the ritual in that manner. That is why, as I said, yagna itself is more than just the fire ritual. There are different ways of doing it. If somebody decides and takes a sankalpa that I will do upvas every day with something in mind, that disciplining of self is also a yagna, yeah. But what has been prescribed by and large from a ritual perspective for Kali Yuga, they say that the best is Nam Japa Yagna or a Mansik Yagna that we are doing, where we say, okay, I will do X number of malas every day. I will take Bhagwan's Nam X number of times, 108 बार, 10 माला, जो भी आपको करना है, whatever suits you. So this provision has been made in our shastras by the rishis itself, that by the time Kali Yuga comes, the best is Nam Japa Yagna. That you do, that is also enough. Do Japa Yagna, that is also enough. But at least do, at least Bhagwan ko yaad to karo, kisi bhi bahane yaad karo. And if you see, when you are chanting, when you do a certain mala vagere, what you are doing, it is also a way to concentrate your mind. Yeah, we talk of mindfulness, which is basically coming from dharana. So the name chanting, of course, instills the bhava, the shraddha in us, but it is also helping our mind to focus on that one idea. So it helps otherwise also from mental disciplining, focus, concentration perspective, and also recommended by the Shastras for this time and age. So what sadhana is doing is actually completely in line with what the Shastras say, and something that everybody can do wherever they are, right? Wherever they are. Doesn't matter if you live in a small house or a big house. Doesn't matter if you can light a fire, not light a fire. Doesn't matter.
Whether you're
जहाँ पर
traveling,
भी हो,
whether you're
जैसे
at
भी हो,
home. Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much. I had a very, kind of a personal uh, question, and this is something that nags me also. See, many times we tell people that, uh, take divine guidance, take that divine
Hmm.
inspiration, and for that, do something. Like, for example, like you said, Nam Japa, Mansik Yagya, or whatever, right? When we do that, then often especially in today's age, when we say, like you said, mindfulness, why is this term such a big term now? Because many of us are really confused about many things, right? And we really struggle to make the right decisions. There are so many considerations, so many unknowns that we want to kind of be sure about. Now, Ravan, I read it in your book also just yesterday. He was, in fact, Vibhishan says that Ravan himself was a great practitioner of
Yeah.
all dharmic rituals. He was a great practitioner of yagyas also, and everything else. And even in Sundarkanda, there's a very beautiful description of how Ravan comes on the day that Hanuman goes and finds Sita, and Hanuman is waiting on the tree, and Ravan comes, having finished all his Vedic rituals, the morning rituals, then threatens Sita. So my question is, if this person has done so much, why was his buddhi still brushed? Why did he not?
See, just doing the ritual in isolation without any shraddha bhava, without humility, will lead you there, right? Ravan is doing yagnas, Ravan is doing dan and all that. But who does he consider supreme? Himself.
Hmm.
In his mind, the power that he gained through his tapasya and the vardhan that he gained from Brahmaji, that made him even more ahankari, right? Where he thought, anyways, nobody can do anything to me. He still kept doing the rituals. But that chitta shuddhi did not happen. Now, for the chitta shuddhi to happen, introspection has to be there. Shraddha has to be there that I am not everything. There is something more beyond me, and I am just a nimitta matra through whom things are happening, right? If I have achieved something in life, can I really take complete credit of it? No. There is so much more happening. So many situations have aligned in such a way that things worked out for me, right? But if I think, oh, I have achieved everything, I am great, and I keep doing rituals for rituals' sake, thinking I am great, then what's the point? That is why when even they do the yagna and all of that, what is the idea? That Shri Krishna Arpanamastu, whatever I'm doing it arpan to you, right? Anyways, what Krishna is telling Arjuna also, that you become a nimit matra. Give up the karta bhav. Do it for loka sangraha. And the highest form of yagna is also nishkama karma. The various nitya karma and everything that I was saying is nishkama. Can you move beyond your desire, your only personal desire? Can you do something because it is for the larger good? And obviously, it will help you too, but not just for your personal gain at the cost of the others, right? When that perspective is forgotten, when our mind gets completely biased because of our kam, krodha, lobha, moha, mad, matsarya, whatever ritual will we do will not have any effect. So the chitta shuddhi and the ritual have to go together. The ritual, if properly, if we put our dhyana into doing it with the bhav, should help to do chitta shuddhi. But mechanically doing it is not going to achieve anything, right? It might still have, for the shastras, whatever benefit you get, you might still get. But is it allowing you to do chitta shuddhi? No. For chitta shuddhi, understanding the whole concept of it is also extremely important. And doing it with that bhav, that idam rashtraya, idam lokaya, idam namama, and with the mindset that sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. When you do it with that perspective, maybe the chitta shuddhi will happen. Because if you see any of the villains, so to say, in our epics, right, all of them were very strong, and all of them actually did a lot of puja tapasya also. They did a lot of dan, dakshina, yagnas, everything. But instead of reducing the aspect of ahankar, it kept increasing. So something somewhere was definitely wrong. And what was that? No chitta shuddhi. Why no chitta shuddhi? Because mind is clouded by kam, krodha, lobha, moha, mat, matsarya, even if they are doing the ritual.
So if we have to put it in simpler terms, then it just means that Chitta Shuddhi can happen through surrender, because then that Ahankar Bhav is kind of eroded and kind of surrender to a higher force. But then Raman did not have it because he surrendered only to himself. So
he had it initially when he was doing the tapasya and all, right? Even that, gaining a siddhi is not easy. But what happened after that? After that, instead of becoming humble, he thought, I am the master of it all. I have achieved everything. Now nobody can do anything to me. No fear of death, no? He's saying nobody can do anything to me. Now what are even the devtas? Nobody is anything in front of me. Now I don't need to care of anybody. And in fact, this is one thing. Gaining siddhis is actually a big red flag, which the Shastras talk about. If you see Patanjali Yoga Sutra, so there's a chapter in that called Vibhuti Yoga. So it says all this, that you do with all your yoga abhyas, everything, yoga anga anusthana, you can achieve X, Y, Z siddhis. But they are like, be careful, because these siddhis can lead to your downfall. Because these siddhis, instead of taking you ahead in your path, if they make you ahankari, because power gives you ahankar, no? Power makes you think you can do anything you want. And if you start becoming ahankari, your downfall is guaranteed. So be careful. Don't get stuck there, it says. And that is true for anything and everything. The same ritual which does chitta shuddhi, if the perspective is lost, if the humility is lost, you will not gain anything. Then it just becomes a mechanical thing which you do again for your own self. So Krishna talks about all of this as tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. So tamasic is doing something completely wrong, but rajasic is that doing something with a personal gain in mind. And when that gain comes, still the chitta shuddhi hasn't happened. So what's the point?
Yeah. Again, sorry, one more question, one more probe there. Now, let's say, of course, not let's say, but he was Ahankari. Was it not possible for, Mahadev, because he was a worshipper of Mahadev, was it not possible for him to change his mind, to make him realize that Ahankar is not the...
So Shivji, did he not try that? If you see the story, first of all, how did he become a Shiv Bhakta? He became a Shiv Bhakta because Shivji showed him what Shivji is, right? When he goes to Kailash initially, and Nandiji tells him that you can't come here, and because this is Shivji's Krida Sthal, what does Ravan say? Ko ayam Shiva, who is Shiv? Let him see who I am. Yeah. And he tries to lift the Kailash, we are told. At that time, Shivji, with just his Leela, he just presses his thumb, and Ravan's hand get crushed, we are told. At that time, he starts screaming and crying, and then he's advised ki Baba, do stuti of Shivji. He's very kind, but you will have to appease him. So at that time, that Samarpan Bhav comes. Why? Because Zabardasti mein. He had no other way to really get himself released, right? So even after that, if you then read the Shiva Purans and all that, he's obsessed with Shivji. Now what he's like, now you come with me. Now you have to come with me. Now I'll take you away. You come in Lanka. There also Shivji is trying to show him the Baba, be humble, right? But is he taking that lesson? So there is this thing again which comes in Gita. I love Gita because it has all these insights, right? It says Shraddhavan labhute jnanam. One is with Shraddha. So that Shraddha is not there anymore in your Ishta. It is like, what do I want? I. That is Ahankar, right? And somebody is trying to tell you something. What if you don't listen? For that matter, to Ravan, everyone tells him that, Baba, what you're trying to do is wrong. Yeah. Everybody tries to tell him. Now, when we say, why didn't Bhagwan do that to him? How does Bhagwan help you? Bhagwan helps you through different people by giving you right advice, right? It is not always Bhagwan. We have to see Bhagwan and whoever else has come to help us. But if you don't want to listen, if you close your ears, what will happen? Who is more deaf than the one who doesn't want to hear? Who is more blind than one who doesn't want to see? What do you do to that? Now, why is that happening? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsarya, which Krishna talks about, na? That one leads to another, Sangha leads to Kam leads to Krodha, Krodha leads to Sammoha, Sammoha eventually leads to Smriti Vibhrama, Smriti Vibhrama leads to your destruction. He has that shlok in Gita. Can't do anything if we ourselves don't become careful. Now, how will that happen when the introspection happens, when the humility comes? And there is a Shraddha in something larger than yourself, that it's not all just I, it's beyond me. I am just grateful when there is a sense of gratitude for what you've achieved. If that is not there, very easy to fall prey to all these things. In fact, again, Arjun asks, na, he's like, why do people do papa? Athakkena prayuktoyam papam charati manushya. Why do people commit such papa, even if they don't want to sometimes? Yeah, sometimes they don't want to. Why do they do that? And Krishna says, kama esha krodha esha. It is the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mad, matsarya. So if we are not careful, these things will come to us. And let me end with one small thing. In Mahabharata, there is a thing called Kama Gita. Yeah, I've covered it in my new book that's coming. That Kama Gita is a discussion between Sri Krishna and Yudhishthir. And there, Krishna is narrating to Yudhishthir about a poem from Kam itself. And it says, Aham Ahavadhyo. Kam says, when people try too hard to get me out also, right? Through Veda Dhyan, through this, through that, I emerge once again into them through one of their vrittis of ahankar or this or that. So it's very difficult to take me away. So at the end of the day, what
सॉरी आमी जी, थोड़ा सा लास्ट में थोड़ा डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया था, फ्रीज हो गया था. कैन यू से दैट अगेन?
where did you lose me?
So Krishna, when Krishna says, na, Shri Krishna, that one.
So Krishna tells Yudhishthir about something he was told, a poem which Kam itself narrated. Kam is desire. Kam includes everything. That Kam, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Matsarya, everything is called Kama. Yeah. So he says, Kam is narrating and saying that when people try too hard to control me, na, I still appear. Aham avadhyo. Nobody can kill me. If somebody does it through Vedabhyas, through lot of yoga, all that, I still appear in their head through Abhiman. Yeah. So unless and until I was saying that we have that perspective, that introspection, ki Baba, this we can become ahankari. Yeah. This is not all us. And there is some devanugraha. So one has to be practice, practice, practice. You still have to control. So mental discipline and devanugraha, both of these matter. for things to actually reign those bhavs, काम क्रोध लोभ मोह. Very, very difficult, but not impossible. But very difficult for sure.
I think in Kali Yuga it's even more the most difficult, I think. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, Amiji, for this wonderful exposition on the questions that I think many of us have. But yeah, I mean, we see these epics and these stories and see some of our own situations and think, why not? I mean, but will I still be guided the right way? Will I still, what do I have to rein in? What do I have to do to control this? So it's like a larger reflection of that, right? So thank you for explaining that so well. And some of the things that you said, like definitely I took away that concept of gratitude, right? Surrender and going beyond the I, right? And I am still coming back to our mission of the 18 lakh yagya. So one of the things that was behind the mission was that it is a because this is just a commemoration of this beautiful moment, right? There is nothing that each of us wants to take away. We want to be a part of it.
It's like
Nothing.
Sarvajan Hitaya Sarvajan.
Yeah, it's just like just making it so beautiful, making it a personal moment for us, right? So and also a token of gratitude, because many people before the Ram Mandir Udghatan has happened, there are so many people who have struggled, बहुत सा battle, sangharsh, and emotional toil. I think yesterday I read about a lady in Jharkhand who was breaking her
Yeah,
silence after 32 years.
Mount Earth,
Imagine
yes.
the willpower that takes, right? And then there was a community somewhere in Ayodhya that is just started wearing footwear
Chappals, yeah.
and I mean, look at the commitment and the willpower and the trust in this mission that they had. So
This is all Yagna in a way, right? Everybody is doing it in their own way. It's
everybody
for
is
the
doing
larger
it.
cause.
Yeah, and this is just our small 9 minute or 4 minute samarpan, that too on the Sadhana app. Just have the phone in your hand. You always have it anyway in your hand. So just open the Sadhana app and remember Shri Ramji as a token of gratitude, and just like you said, Nam Japa, do the yagya mansikali and just get all the benefit, just sitting wherever you are, traveling wherever you are wanting to go, and just reap the benefit of it. So, Amiji, your thoughts on that? I would really love to know.
No, I request everyone to do it. We still have 11 days to go, exactly 11 days to go for the Pran Pratishthan, right? Please get on to this app, and Naam Japa is only going to benefit us, and it's for everyone. So why not? And now there is a power in the name, right? And when collectively so many people are going to do it, I'm sure it's going to benefit all of us. So why not? Please definitely do it. Ram Naam mein to even that thing is na Parvati, when there's a story, if I can just
Yeah,
say that. Um, one day Parvati ji was doing puja, and we are told that Shankar ji was very hungry. But Parvati is like, no, no, I can't give you food right now. I have to finish my puja. And Shankar ji is like, Arey, but why are you taking so much time? Only one name is enough. You
please.
take that one name and it is enough. And that is that the Ram Naam. Shri Rama Rama Rameti. Rame Rame Manorame. Sahasra Naam Tattulyam Rama Nama Manorame. So it is the Ram Naam which is Sahasra Naam Tulyam. So
Yes,
why not use the benefit of it? But even Shivji has told us.
yes,
Jai
absolutely.
Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Thank you so much, Amiji. I know you just told me that you came like 20 minutes before this session. You were traveling and you made time for this talk. So thank you very much for being here and making this happen. Jai Shri Ram. And to everyone watching, thank you for your time too. And please participate in this beautiful mission, because I feel that we are a very fortunate generation, because before us, many people have struggled, have not been able to see um, see it come to fruition, because this has been their dhadkan, this has been their heartbeat, this has been their mission, life mission. And many have passed away without seeing it happen. But we are the lucky ones. And we also have the beauty of technology with us, even though we are not able to go to Ayodhya. We can still do so much. And Sadhana app is one of the tools, beautiful tools to do it, make it a part of our being, our own memories. When we are, probably, in our old age, we can say, yeah, I also did that by, making this my personal sanctuary with the Sadhana app, even though I could not go there. So yeah, please do participate and make the most of it. Like Miji said, there are 11 days left. You can still you can still offer these yagyas and multiple yagyas also every day, because it takes only 9 minutes a day. So yeah, thank you very much. And please, come back when we come back with another beautiful guest, another interesting perspective on this beautiful dharmic space of sadhana. Thank you very much. I'll take your leave. Thank you, Amiji. Jai Shri
Thank
Ram.
you. Jai Shri Ram.